Thanks for downloading another segment from the Best of the Classic Metal Show. The Classic Metal Show is heard live on Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. And now here's another piece of Classic Metal Show history on the Best of the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
From the latest release from Eric Van Landingham, Meet My Demons, that's Ignorance, Shame, and I was watching the chat room there, the reaction to that, Chris.
Oh, yeah?
And I see MOL in there is very pleased with this. This sounds fucking hard as hell.
Nice.
They like the Pantera-ish sound to it. And on the phone with us, someone that I think you need to kiss and make up with, Chris, is our good friend Eric Van Landingham, guitar virtuoso. Welcome back to the Classic Metal Show, Eric.
Hey, thanks, Neely. Man, it's really cool to be back.
Well, you know what? It's cool that you have a new CD to come back on the show with, and our chat room is very pleased with what they've heard.
Are they? I haven't been in there tonight, but I plan on it. As soon as we're done, I'm going to check it out, man.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Eric, where have you been for the last 4 years or so?
I have been in the studio. Believe it or not, this album took just a little over 5 years to do from the first thought of it until the first pressing. It was a little over 5 years.
What are you, like George Lynch in his Souls of We?
I guess you could say that. I'm not quite as bad as the Axl Rose thing. I didn't take whatever it was. It took him 17 years, but it did take me quite a long time. And actually, I have my own studio, and I don't know why it took that long. I guess I'm a perfectionist, or just not happy with a lot of takes, and it just took me a while.
Sure. Well, Eric, obviously, man, Meet My Demons, if it does anything as compared to what we've heard from the first solo CD that you did, you've gotten a lot more vicious, not only in your playing, but in your lyric writing and just in your overall musical scoring, I guess. Is this like a purpose move, or is it just kind of the way you've developed as an artist?
I think that first CD that I recorded, I wasn't quite comfortable with the studio. You know, you go in there and you're a little intimidated, things like that. And that was not my studio. So with this one, I had a little more time to just be me, basically, and write the kind of music that I would normally write. You know, you sit around when you're a musician and you write something and think, hey, that's awesome. And then you go into somebody's studio and it doesn't quite come out the same. And having my own studio, I have all the time I want just to sit there and make it come out how I want it to come out.
Well, just for the record, Ruben Rocker in the chat room said this is way better than that GNR shit.
Hey, thanks, Ruben. I appreciate that, my brother.
Well, Eric, with the new record, man, I mean, just I'm gonna throw a guess out here, and you can tell me that I'm 100% right or 100% wrong or some of each. But from reading the titles of the different songs on Meet My Demons, it almost seems like this is almost like a self-help record for yourself, where you really looked internally at your own state of being or state of mind and really wrote from that perspective. Is that even close?
You know what, Chris? You're probably a lot better at this than people give you credit for.
Okay.
You're kind of right on the nose with that. I had a serious problem with anxiety and panic attacks, and I figured, well, what better to do than face it head on and create a CD, do songs about it, and scream it out loud, you know? And that's basically what it is. It's from the perspective of someone who's got a serious anxiety problem.
Well, Eric, you mentioned to me that you and your cohorts there have been tuned into the show, and you know I've been lauding the fact that you know you're a self-made guy when it comes to guitarists. I mean, you're not out there with the record deal. You obviously are self-financing your own CDs and your recording and all the things that you do, much like what we do here on the Classic Metal Show. Have any record labels shown any interest? Have you shopped this to any labels at all, or do you not care about that, or what's the process there?
I'm not extremely interested in being on a major label for many reasons. I guess one of them is I'm not 22 years old anymore. Another reason is it's kind of hard to take this kind of thing on the road. until the day comes where we can clone myself, you know.
Right.
Right now it's on Retrospect Records, and they've been doing a great job. They just sent me my first shipment of this CD. I got 50 physical copies to give out to friends and family, and it is for sale now at retrospectrecords.com. And as far as that goes, they're doing great. They're selling great. I got magazines and radio stations and promo from all over the world, Switzerland and France, contacting me because of what Retrospect has done. So I'm kind of right now pretty happy with that. But you know, of course, if a major label contacted me and said, "Hey, I have musicians for you to form a band and support this CD, and we're going to give you X amount of money, and we're going to put you on tour, and you're going to open for, you know, Metallica or whatever," of course I'd do it.
Sure.
You know, everybody would.
Well,
But as it
Retrospect...
stands right now, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out and how things are going right now.
Excellent. Well, Retrospect sponsors a stage at Rocklahoma, and I realized that the bands that play there on the Rocklahoma stage obviously were bands from the 80s. Would there be any chance of Retrospect allowing you to be on like a Rocklahoma bill or something like that?
Yeah, Sam at Retrospect Records asked me if I'd be interested in doing something like that. They do Rocklahoma, and they also do a few other large shows that are kind of an annual thing. And he asked if I'd be interested if he could come up with some other musicians. I don't want to name names as far as bands, but there's a couple of bands that he deals with that to me are pretty big for being underground. And some guys have contacted me, and we'll just, I guess, see how that goes for next year's Rocklahoma.
Sure. Well, Eric, with a project like this, and as a musician as you are that records all of it yourself, is it going to be difficult for you to give up pieces of it? I mean, if you were to, say, put together a band and then, you're playing a song and the drumming just does not hit exactly how you recorded it, is that going to be difficult for you? Because, doing it the way you do it almost puts you in like a control freak type of an environment,
You trying to tell me something, Chris?
No, not at all. I'm just curious if once, you do put a band behind it, if it's easy to let go. I know a lot of band guys are not really comfortable with letting their parts, be interpreted by other people.
Right. Again, you're right on the nose, Chris, with that. It's kind of difficult. The last CD that I put out, you guys did an interview for me, and I did have a band put together to support that. The band was called Slave, and yeah, when we did rehearsals, it was hard for me to not stop the band at every turn and tell the drummer, "Hey, do this," or the bass player, "Hey, do this." But there are a few certain guys that I have in mind who are actually better on my side instruments than I would be. So, they're going to surpass what I did, which kind of takes care of that. I don't have to stop them because whatever it is they do, I'm going to say, "Oh shit, that was fucking better than what I did."
Right. Now, would you be comfortable yourself as the vocalist, or would it have to be you as the vocalist, or would you actually look for a vocalist?
I think I'd be better off with a vocalist because it really takes away from my guitar playing if I have to pay attention to the vocals, and I don't really have the ability to scream like that for an hour at a time. So I think it'd be a lot better if we had a front man.
Well, Eric, this song that we played here, this Ignorant Shame, has a very Pantera-ish sound to it. Is that kind of what you were going for? Is that kind of an influence for you, Pantera, or that's just how it came out, or tell us about that.
That's not what I was going for, but of course, I guess you play who influences you. You play like who influences you. I'm a Pantera fan. I years ago jammed with Dimebag at a guitar seminar of his. I was the bass player for him for a night, and we got to be good friends and drank with the guy and all that. And of course, I started paying attention to his licks and listening to their music. And I wouldn't say that I was going for a Pantera sound on that song. It just may have been what I was feeling that night, I guess.
Sure.
I didn't know it was going to turn out like that, but you're the second person who said that, so I guess it has.
Right. Well, our chat room was commenting, saying that it's very reminiscent of, say, like Walk, the song Walk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got that choppy kind of beat. It's better than your chat room saying it's kind of reminiscent of Barry Manilow or something.
Nice.
Hey, that kind of sounds like Mandy.
Sure. Well, later tonight, Eric, we're going to interview some guys who are up in your neck of the woods. They have a radio show in the Detroit area on WRAF called The Chop Shop, and they picked 100 top guitarists, and I was sad to see your name wasn't on that list.
No, I haven't been in the Detroit area as far as musically in quite a while. The last time I played Detroit, I was in a Metallica tribute in '93.
Sure.
So it's been quite a while. I don't know if Detroit is all that aware of me.
Sure.
Chris laughing in the background. Yeah, aware is a good way to put it.
Oh, come on, man. We're aware of you. We still remembered you 4 years later. I mean, if we remember you, why doesn't everybody, right?
I don't know. I kind of shopped myself better on the internet than I did locally, I suppose. Like I said, it's kind of rough to do this on stage by yourself, so I haven't really been playing these songs or anything heavy on stage in quite a while. More of the studio gig for the last 5 years. So it's hard to get your name out if you're not doing that, you know.
Right. Well, Eric, what is it that keeps you going, man? Is it just the desire to be creative and to make music, or is there a financial hope or gain that you make from this, or what exactly keeps a guy like you driving forward?
It's definitely not financial. I mean, I'm not expecting to become a millionaire off of this, but I think if you ask any musician or artist, they're just going to tell you because they have it in them to create the music or create the art. As long as they are physically able to do that, they're going to keep going.
Sure.
That's pretty much my story.
Is it frustrating for a guy like you who clearly can play the guitar, but you play the guitar in a, I don't want to say old school because that's the wrong term, but you don't play just, down-tuned riffs. I mean, you actually play the guitar. You mix leads, you do riffs, you do bridges, you tie all the different pieces together. Is it frustrating for you when you see what's coming up today and actually, getting attention, this bullshit like Avenged Sevenfold or Bullet for My Valentine or that kind of stuff?
Sometimes it's a little disheartening when you see stuff like that, but I would say the bands that are getting attention these days are a hell of a lot better than some of the bands I used to see in the 90s or even the late 80s. Just some of these guys were ridiculous. They couldn't even play, But nowadays, you get some heavy riffs, and that's the mainstream that's on the radio. Even though it may be Avenged Sevenfold, at least, that drummer's just rocking his ass off. And guitar solos are coming back, so I would say this is not the worst time for heavy metal, and I'm not going to down anybody who's getting attention right now. If it's not me getting full attention, then at least it's someone who's playing something heavy,
Well, who are some of the newer bands that you're finding interesting or even listenable these days?
Well. Chris evidently doesn't like them, but I thought of Avenged Sevenfold when I heard Backcountry. I thought that was a pretty badass song. I really liked Toxicity. That song, I can't remember the name of the band.
System of a Down. Ugh!
Yeah, System of a Down. I mean, the guy's kind of goofy the way he sings, but just the way they play is a little different, I guess. I don't want to get into this whole I like everything Chris hates thing again. But I'm obviously, from what you remember, I'm obviously the kind of guy who likes the stuff that most other people do not.
That's okay. I'm gonna believe me, I'm in the minority by not liking. I'm very much in the minority with the not liking System of a Down. I mean, that's a multi-platinum selling band.
They're not my favorite. I would absolutely agree with you that they're absolutely not my favorite, but I think there's some things that they do that are pretty cool, and it's better than back in the late 80s when the new band was Firehouse, and it's like, oh my God, another one.
Nice.
Sure. Eric,
I hated that shit.
Did you, by any chance, while we're talking guitars a little bit, did you happen to hear Judas Priest's Nostradamus record?
Oh, yeah.
And your thoughts?
Oh, it's fucking awesome.
Wow. Really? Did you really enjoy that?
Well, for today's standards and the age of the guys that are doing it, I mean, it's certainly not Painkiller, but
it's not.
I mean, it's good.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Eric.
Fair enough.
Well, Eric, where can people find you, and how can they get the disc?
They can find me, as far as Chris is concerned, at the bottom of the heap. And no, you can go to www.ericvanlandingham.com or MySpace, of course, myspace.com/Eric Van Landingham, or you can go straight to retrospectrecords.com and grab the CD. And also, I want to mention the guys that are out in the other room listening to me right now. They keep trying to fuck with me through the door. And I want to tell those guys to fuck you before I go back out.
Right.
Yeah. Stop wishing you were him, you fucking leeches. Get away from the door.
Yeah, it's just because they're not on the #1 metal radio program in the world, you know.
That's right. That's right.
So Eric,
hey, and Chris,
go ahead.
Have you heard the new Grimstein?
Grimstein? No, I have not.
It's Steve Grimmett from Grim Reaper.
Oh, nice. I would like to hear that, actually.
Were you a fan of Grim Reaper?
Not so much Grim Reaper, but I like the Steve Grimmett band, the thing that he did not too long ago, like 2003.
Yeah. There's a brand new one with him and the guitar player from Grim Reaper, and it is absolutely killer, dude. You got to check that out.
All right, I will. I will definitely look that up.
I could not leave the show without agreeing with you on something.
Wow. Well, we got. I think we got some common ground here, boys.
Yeah, I feel a real love connection all of a sudden.
Yeah, oh, dude, there's no bad blood between us. Would that start with Dream Theater or something?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, whatever. We would drink the same beer and listen to the same metal if we were in the same house, man. Come on.
Right.
But we would drink the same beer.
I would listen to whatever you played. It doesn't matter to me.
There you go. All right, brother.
All right, Eric, again, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here on the Classic Metal Show. Congrats on the new CD, Meet My Demons. Go pick that thing up over at ericvanlandingham.com or retrospectrecords.com. I think you'll enjoy it. And Eric, were we asking the Lemmy question when you were on the show last?
You did ask me the Lemmy question, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, how has Lemmy from Motorhead influenced your career?
I only try my best to look that fucking good when I'm on stage.
Nice. All right, Eric, we always let the artist pick a closing song from their new CD, so what should we play, and tell us a little story about it?
You've only played Ignorant Shame, and that's it?
Yeah, we're pretty early into the show, so yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go with the first one, Born. It's heavy. It's got the screams. It's got the solos. It's got everything everybody likes about metal, and it's basically the introduction to the story. The CD is a concept album about the whole anxiety thing, and we're going to introduce you to that story with this song.
Excellent.
It's called Born.
All right, excellent. All right, well, here it is. This is Eric Van Landingham from his latest release, Meet My Demons, and this is just called Born exclusively here
on your Classic Metal Show.
Thanks for checking out the best of the Classic Metal Show. You can tune into the Classic Metal Show live every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com.
The Classic Metal Show.